Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Romney Smith at WTOC for The News Now. This is where we bring you very fast-paced news of what we're working on right now. We're on various platforms, including our website, WTOC.com, the WTOC apps, Amazon Fire, Roku, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, lots of different areas to reach us. Facebook is actually where you can interact with us live. I see you guys, Meredith Bacon and Melinda Haar, Anne Marie Woods, all saying hello. Thank you so much for joining us. So right now we're following some breaking news. The remains found at a New Mexican compound were positively identified as the missing Georgia boy, according to his grandfather. We have the story on our website right now. We're going to flip through some pictures for you. Abdul Ghani Wahaj was found Monday on what would have been his 4th birthday. After he went missing in December in Jonesboro, Georgia, near Atlanta, the boy's grandfather leads a New York City mosque and actually told reporters that he learned from other family members that the boy's body was buried at the New Mexican compound after he died. Authorities say the boy's father, Siraj Ibn Wahaj, told his wife that he wanted to perform an exorcism on this little boy and said he was taking the child to a park and didn't return. The search for that boy led local authorities all the way to New Mexico to that compound last week. Imam Wahaj says whoever is responsible should be held accountable. Again, that little 3-year-old boy was found on what would have been his 4th birthday, dead inside that compound. I see you guys on Facebook weighing in. Barbara Colbaugh saying, "Rest in peace, dear little boy. May justice be swift and complete." I think everyone's hearts kind of break a little bit when you hear about a child death, especially at the hands of a parent. Certainly bothersome, but as that continues, we will give you more information on exactly what the cause of death was and learn more about the other 11 emaciated children that were found inside that complex and if they have any ties to the state of Georgia. Closer to home, WTOC Bureau reporter Dal Kennedy is speaking with the athletic coach of a teenager who was recently killed in Glenville. He has a preview of his story today.
This one is a tough story to tell. Sitting down with a high school coach talking about one of his favorite players killed tragically in his own home this week. Sitting down talking about a young man who had just graduated high school back in May and had his future ahead of him. College, sports, studying in the medical field. Killed in just a terrible, tragic family situation. We'll have that story coming up for you tonight on The News.
All right, all you guys know, especially parents, that it's back to school time in our area, and that actually means a lot of changes and new trends. One new trend that we're looking into, vaping, particularly among boys. Our Meredith Parker has been working on this story. Here's a preview of it.
Is your child vaping at school?
I think it's concerning that kids don't understand how addictive it could be.
How are schools prepared to prevent this smoking alternative? Meredith Parker investigates vaping in the boys' room. Thursday on The News at 6.
All right, something that I'm going to take very seriously right now that a lot of people tend to laugh at is national news, talking about the president's plan for a space force to become the 6th military arm of the United States. Well, a lot of people like to joke and say, who are we fighting? Is it aliens? We know that's not the plan. But earlier today, Vice President Mike Pence laid out 3 key items that the newly created Space Force will take on once employees have been hired and trained. Take a listen to what he had to say earlier today.
I'm pleased to report that President Trump has already signed 3 new space policy directives to reorient our space program toward human exploration, unleash America's burgeoning commercial space companies, and safeguard our vital space assets with new space traffic management policy.
Vice President Pence says the 6th military branch will be operational by 2020. He added that there's increased competition from Russia and China. Keep in mind, Space Force does not exist right now because any proposal would require congressional action. All right, I am going to go back to that main story in just a bit, but first let me hit on weather really quick. Let's take a live look at the Tybee Island sky camera. Certainly a lot of people out there, but not as much as we're used to because, of course, school back in session. Temperatures well into the 90s with triple-digit heat indexes today. Understandable why a lot of people took time to go to the beach. Speaking of the temperatures right now, let's go look at the hour-by-hour forecast on my iPad right now. You can clearly see it's going to stay in the 90s for right now. It'll drop down to the upper to mid 80s as the evening goes on. We are expecting scattered thunderstorms throughout the evening, so keep that in mind for parts of our area. I do want to go back to our main story that we told you about at the very top of this digital newscast. So the Georgia boy from Jonesboro who was found on what would have been his 4th birthday was positively identified. We know that there was a compound in New Mexico and 11 children that were emaciated emaciated were found there along with some women and some men. Well, Abdul Ghani Wahaj, he was found Monday on what would have been his birthday after he went missing from Georgia, from Jonesboro, which is near Atlanta. The boy's grandfather confirmed today that that little boy his identity was confirmed and that he is dead. He was actually buried at the New Mexican compound. And authorities say the boy's father told his wife that he wanted to perform an exorcism on the child, said he took the child to a park and didn't return. The grandfather talked with different family members and led authorities to New Mexico to try to rescue his grandson. Unfortunately, that grandson has now been positively identified as the little boy, Abdul Ghani Wahaj, who was found dead inside that complex. Incredibly heartbreaking story. You're looking at pictures on our website right there of the father. A lot of you wondering how a father could do this to their own child. Clearly, there was something going on. The father felt he needed to perform an exorcism on this little 3-year-old who was about to turn 4 years old. I see your comments, Alethea Bowen saying praying for the family. Very heartbreaking. Latricia Smith Brown saying 11 children. Yes, there were a lot of other children found in the compound, emaciated and soiled with their own feces and urine. So this was not a clean, not a sanitary place. Big investigation going on right now. We're still working to learn if the other 11 children had any connection to the state of Georgia. As soon as we do, we'll let you know. Keep in mind, you can always stay in touch on WTOC.com and our social media platforms. We have a lot of work to get to. Join us at 4 o'clock. We are the CBS affiliate right here in Savannah, Georgia.